All righty, let's turn our attention now to the running of the big one this Friday night. It is the Geelong Cup over the 520 metres, and I've put together an all-star panel to preview the Geelong Cup. We're going to go through them runner by runner and then find the winner. Now, we're seeing to the north of me here on Zoom, we've got Nathan Rooney to join me. He's live from Ballarat, handling greyhounds, but he's taken a moment to say g'day. Roons, how are you, brother?
Very good, James. Thanks for having me, mate. And hopefully we can find our listeners some winners out there for Geelong Cup night.
Hey, I'm trying to work out where you've snuck into here. Are you in the Ballarat Greyhound Racing Club office? Have you just pushed them aside and said, I've got some serious business to get to?
In the VIP suite, yep. I've seen Jodie and said, I've got a special podcast to air. And she goes, come in the VIP lounge and we'll set you up. So, under the heater, beautiful in here, and not looking forward to going outside.
It'll be too cold outside, that's for sure. And also joining me, as always, when we're talking country cups on the Green Light on Premier Racing podcast is Ethan Christian. Eth, what's news, brother? You been keeping well?
Keeping well, keeping busy. Country Cup season in full swing, and hopefully another one where we can find the winner for the listeners.
Yeah, just before we rip into this preview, starting with you, Nath, what did you make of the run of Kelsey Bell in the Ballarat Cup the other week? I mean, the word post the Ballarat Cup was it's the greatest win of all time. I'm not sure it was that good because I think there were hard luck stories in the race, but it was still an almighty victory.
Yeah, I think watching it on face value, I thought, that's a ripper run. And then the clock come up and it's 25-1 next to a name. And then you think about the 45 minutes of torrential rain that happened beforehand. And it was an absolute phenomenal run. I don't know if I can put it down to, the greatest run of all time or things like that, like people are saying, but take nothing away. It was one for the ages. It was a cracker of a run.
Yeah, it wasn't a cracker for me because I was on Unleashed Kalinda. I thought might have been something beat. What did you make of it, Heath? What did you make of the race?
Yeah, like Nathan touched on, I can't quite put it up there as one of the best I've ever seen and one of the best of all time. And quite frankly, I'm a young pup around the trap, so I haven't seen many races in my time. But what I will say is that she's in the form of her life, and she has this turn of foot that just leaves you shaking your head as to how quickly she can put some of her opponents to bed. And that run was just a testament to that ability that she has. It is breathtaking at the best of times.
Yeah, she definitely has two different sides to herself as well. She can lead and be run down, and then she can produce that. Let's turn our attention to the Sportsbet Geelong Gold Cup. Group 2, 520 metres, massive prize money as well this year, $75,000. So I reckon it won't be too long, boys, and we'll be seeing the Geelong Cup as a Group 1 on the provincial circuit. It's heading that way. In Box 1, Crackerjack Bull, Watchdog odds here, $10. Mapunga Warrior 2, $3.60. Storm Stroller 3 for the Bartolos at $6. Mapunga Mustang, $10. At Hana Rico, who was awesome last week, $5. Nelvin Bale, Box 6 at 51. And then Kelsey Bale, the Queen. Can she do it from the draw? I'm quick to get away from Wow She's Fast and make Kelsey Bale the Queen now. $3.40. Amron Dan, $10. And the reserves Stealth and Dundee Rebel, they're $5 and $10 respectively. We'll start with number 1 here, Crackerjack Bull. I have had an enormous opinion of this boy the moment he set foot on the racetrack. So I remember Corey Smith messaged me one night and he said, oh, look, is there any winners down at the Bull? And I said, watch this Crackerjack Bull. He's an absolute machine. He is a bull, and he missed the kick, worked through the field. He was enormous. And I thought, boys, starting with you, Nath, last week, to work around the field the way he did from box number 8 and work 3 wide down the back straight and then have the tenacity to, if anything, pull away from Make No Promise. I thought the run last week was just a massive performance.
Super performance. Anytime you went off the pink over 520 on the inside track at Geelong, it's credit to you. Like that just doesn't happen. It's one of the most leader bias, rail bias tracks in Victorian racing and in greyhound racing, if you ask me. It's he's done it against pattern, off the fence, with not a great deal of early speed. So his run was full of merit, and you've got to put in that was only his 15th race start. So he's still a young dog learning his caper, and he still does things wrong, but his run in the heat was super. And I don't think Jordan would be too disappointed coming up with the red in the final just quietly, but it's he's going to have to be on his game to be able to match it with some of these season campaigners.
Yeah, for sure. Look, I think he had 2 box 8s in 2 heats of the Geelong Cup. he would have been very, very angry when the draw came out. Now he finds himself with the red in the final. Heath, how did you see the run last week, and how do you think the big bull can go from box one?
Yeah, I think he comes into calculations from the draw. It was a massive run out from the pink last week coming inside to the rail, as Nathan touched on, is a big advantage at the track and trip. So I think he can stalk the leaders from this draw and make a strong mid-race move if he's given the room to go. He's only had 15 starts, but he's really showing that he can win some races in his career to come.
The aptly named Mapunga Warrior. I'm not sure this is the right race for him, but he does tick boxes in the sense he's a railer, and I think you need to rail here at Geelong. We'll start with you on this one, Heath. What did you make of his run last week? And he is just an evergreen warrior, and I think he's aptly named Mapunga Warrior.
Well, absolutely. He just keeps going and going, doesn't he? He's got a fair bit of form behind him these days, but it was an impressive win last week coming from behind and back down towards the rail again this week is what you would have hoped for him. He will probably need the runs to appear at the right time, but you wouldn't put it past a dog of his ability to come out on top in a race like this either.
Well, I'll tell you, the man who is a bit of a storm stroller on RSN 927, giving the expert form, is Nathan Rooney. What do you make of this, mate? I could see you just sort of puffing the chest out when we first went to air with this podcast, and I think all of this media just seems to starting to maybe to get a little bit to your head. What do you think of Storm Stroller, mate? Can he do it from the front?
Well, that's his bonus here, isn't it? He's going to lead. I've done the speed map a half a dozen times, and every time Storm Stroller's the first one across to the fence and leading. So, that's, on the inside track at Geelong, that's the biggest advantage you'll ever find. So he's a local. He's been there 7 times for 5 wins and 1 runner-up. He's got 29.85, 86 PB next to his name. That's going to be close to near good enough to win this race. On a speed map, he just looks the one you need to be on, and I can't see him missing a hole because he's nearly going to be in front no matter what until they straighten for home. So I reckon he might not be the fastest dog in the race, but the speed map and the way the race pans out and with box draw, he's in this race up to his eyeballs, James. He's beautifully drawn and the right type of dog to take care of a country cup like this.
Yeah, and he hasn't really won any big races, Ethan. He's got 120K in the bank with 44 starts and 20 wins, so he's a good dog.
Absolutely, he's a good dog, and he, as Nathan touched on, he's got the right trait for this type of race. He is going to be the leader. I couldn't agree more with that, and it's a very hard place to get beat from when you're out in front. So he's going to give himself every possible to take out his first group race.
What about the second of the Mapunga Greyhounds? Barry Smith, Jeff Britton combined with Mapunga Mustang. I feel he does his best racing when he takes the lead. He may not lead this race, but he's a big chance to be outside of the speed of Storm Stroller through the first corner. Is that the way you saw the race playing out, Heath?
Yeah, I did. There's speed drawn to either side of him, which is not particularly what you want to see for him. And his heat wasn't the fastest, even though he was out in front. But interestingly enough, he's got a near on perfect record from box 4, having won 5 out of 6. So he's an experienced campaigner. He knows how to win. So again, you dismiss him at your own peril. I will be against him this time around, though.
Do you like him, Nath?
I'm worried with Ahana Rico on his outside taking that first couple of steps left, as Mapunga and Mustang wants to take them first couple of steps right. So that's the little bit of the sticky situation for Mapunga Mustang. On one of my speed maps, I've got him outside of Storm Stroller, and if he does that, and that's going off him running the 507 at Sandown, couple of runs back, and the 544 in the heat where he hit the lids off a middle pin draw and stayed reasonably straight. But my main concern is Ahana Rico on his outside, who showed speed in the heat last week, wanting to get down to the fence. They might just come together and undo each other is my gut feeling on them too.
Well, Nate's already analysed at Ahana Rico there, I guess. Ethan, do you agree that could be a bit of a concern in the run to the first corner? And he was dynamic last week at Ahana Rico, but I'm just not sure he can repeat that.
Well, it's just a bit unfortunate for him in that sense where he was the fastest heat winner, but he probably just hasn't got the draw to suit in this final. It was a superb win, and he probably is going to be the dog to follow moving out of this series just based on that heat win. But it's going to be a fairly tall order from the 5 alley to try and cross both Storm Stroller and Mapunga Mustang. Going to have his work cut out for him.
Two of the most important boxes that need ticking, I think, boys, is class and a good draw in a race like this. And I don't think Nelvin Bale's got either of them. No disrespect to him, but do we both agree there?
He will need some of the luck he found in his heat, I would have thought. So I'll be happy to risk him in this company.
All right, we spoke of Kelsey Bales. We know what she's capable of. Does the draw do her any favours, Ethan? Box number 7. I think she'd be a lot better off on the inside, but maybe she lets the pace unravel and she just drops in and gets that beautiful run through the first corner.
The draw doesn't help her, but what you're hoping, as if you back her, is that she almost flops out and then just has a clear crack at him, doesn't find any bother trying to go into that first turn, and then just shows that turn of foot to take the race on. So the box, it doesn't really matter all that much. It's neither good nor bad. What you're sort of hoping, which is a very weird thing to be hoping for, is that she almost misses away and just gets the clear run to round them up.
Do you agree, Nath? That's the way she wins it, if she does miss the kick?
No, I don't. I think she can still win doing that. But the way I looked at it and mapped it, if Ahana Reko gets on top of Mapunga Mustang early, Nelvin Bale's going to head down with him. Now, Amron Dan's not a quick beginner off the pink, so there's nothing saying that she can't get 3 wide chasing after Storm Stroller here, only a couple off the speed. Now, if you look at a Ballarat Cup replay, she got knocked over straight on box rise. You look at her last week, she got knocked over straight on box rise. So I know her first splits the last couple of weeks have put her out the back, but that's only because of interference early. I don't think Amron Dan's going to get her, and she's going to get cover on the inside. So she ran 6:57 at Ballarat in the cup heat off the red. So she's got enough speed. We know she can hit the lids. And if Danny Gibbons freshens her up this week on her home track, don't be surprised if she's the one chasing after Storm Stroller here. And if she is, the $3.40 should be $1.40.
Oh, I tell you what, I love that. That's why I've got you on, Nath, because you were like a little wolf there, just gnawing away at a piece of bone or something like that, mate. I could see it in your eyes. But Amron Dan, I don't think the draw suits him here, Ethan. He'd be much, much better off the inside, and he looks a big chance of being posted wide.
Yeah, look, he's never far away in his races, but the draw adds a fairly big obstacle to him in this field. So he's another that I'd be pretty happy to risk in this final.
All right, boys, I'm going to kick the first goal here, and I'm going to give away my tip for the Geelong Gold Cup, and I am going with Crackerjack Bull off the inside. I'm with this young pup. I think he's just perfectly named. He's a bull. He'll charge through at the first corner. And I've just had such a big opinion of him for a long time, and I think last week he took a really big step in the right direction, and I'm just hoping he should safely beat Mapunga Warrior out, and then just lob behind Storm Stroller and run him down. Rooney, it sounds to me like Kelsey Bales, you're on top selection. You were going bananas a minute ago.
Yeah, mate, 110%. You talked about having the class, factor, and she's certainly got that. She's 300K in the bank against some of these dogs that are walking out for their 15s and 16s start with 20K in the bank. She's a serious campaigner. I just can see her winning on speed or off speed in this race. And I think only bad luck's going to beat her. And at the $3.40, as you mentioned earlier, I don't think you'll see $3.40 too often for a dog of her ability in a race of this depth. I think that's a massive, massive overlay, and she should be most probably 6-4 in the old.
Well, according to Rooney, as we heard a moment ago, should be $1.40. Do you agree with that, Heath? Are you with the star that is Kelsey Bale?
Don't know if I can quite get it in as tight as $1.40, but I'm definitely all in the camp of Kelsey Bale. She's just got the class factor over this field, and it would take not even a little bit. It would take a fair bit of bad luck for her to get beat. I would have thought she's got a couple of lengths on this field, I think.
Not sure I'm going to have you two boys back on because you've tag teamed me there. I've gone with Crackerjack Bull, and you've just taken the Kelsey Bale team. But thanks for both coming on, pulling this Geelong Cup apart. I reckon we might have found the winner between the three of us. Maybe it might be a dead heat. Thanks, Rooney.
No worries, James. Thanks for having me.
Good on you, Heath. Good luck, mate.
Cheers, James.
What are you really gambling with? Call Gamblers Help. 1-800-858-858.